Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset, episode 215. This show is about anything and everything related to the Destiny franchise. If you love playing Destiny 2 as much as we do, you're in the right place. This reset, Bungie dials up the excitement for Shadowkeep with the new Vidoc previewing what's ahead in Year 3. We talk technical about PC and the upcoming Shadowkeep launch, and finally dig into our adventures outside of Destiny before we head to the moon. Hello, Guardians, and welcome. It's AER0KNIGHT and, of course, CyborgSasquatch. Hello, dude. What's up?
Hello, yes. Welcome to Destiny Reset Podcast.
Yeah, we could definitely talk some Borderlands this week, but I don't know if we're going to have time.
I don't think so.
We can make a little time.
No time to explain.
You did it right off the top of the show.
Yes, that is a game, but also there's a better game called Destiny we're going to talk about this week, because there's some cool things that really got the hype juices flowing this week for Shadowkeep.
I know
I can feel it. I can touch it. It's so close.
So close, dude. I know it just hit me today. I'm like, oh, it's almost just a week. I got a vacation day planned.
I know.
We were just sitting here talking. So much stuff has been dropping. We were like, well, this is kind of a little bit of a slower week, calm before the storm. And then we're like, wait a second.
Now it's
no.
Now it's 8 days away.
Yeah, 8 days away. The Vidoc dropped this week. Like it's still hype train central.
Wait, Vidoc? Do you mean Vidoc?
No, I knew you were gonna do that. Still Vidoc, man. Still Vidoc.
All right.
What was that, CJ?
We'll see what CJ has to say, because he might actually become the authority on what to call these if he's making them.
Yeah, very true. I'm sure he has something to do with it.
Those DMs.
His specialties. But yeah, man. Yeah, we've got plenty to talk about. How's your week been? Otherwise, good?
Super busy. But a good week. Good. Lots of fun things. Lots of great stuff happening this week. Lots of gaming time slotted in when I could fit it, and overall just ready to get through this next week so I can be on the following week.
Ooh, what's that week?
Because the moon's haunted.
Can't wait.
Haunted.
Especially after some of these lore things we're going to talk about.
Yes.
Interesting.
Do we have any announcements this week that you could think of?
I don't think so. No,
Okay.
Just don't contain the hype, Guardians. Just let yourself be hyped.
Announcement. Be hype.
Be hype. Be hyped. The hype train is real.
Get ready. I'm ready. All right. So some news then, because there was news.
Always news.
Kept that news a-flowing. This week at Bungie, we went on the record about our plans for the third year of Destiny 2. On the record. There was a new Bungie Vidoc. The Moon and Beyond. I didn't expect a second Vidoc.
No?
I didn't, because we had one.
Yeah.
Like a month ago, right?
Right, yeah. And they're hitting, like, when I watch them, man, like, they're kind of hitting me in the feels, because they're not just talking about, like, the expansions. They're like, as a longtime player, I'm sure everybody shares this. Like, it's like, oh, man, I see the vision. Like, I can see what things they're talking about.
They've been laying the groundwork for a while, and they're like, hey, here's these things that we talked about.
Mm-hmm. It's not just like, hey, Shadowkeep's cool, we're going to the moon. It's my favorite thing of this one that I had to tweet out was Luke Smith at the end saying, like, they're like, yeah, we're not even close to done.
It's great, it's come a long way since the years of Destiny 1, where when something new is coming out, the big focus was on, like, that particular thing, right?
The live stream reveals and such.
Now there's a lot more credence given to, like, the whole year. It's like, hey, we're launching this, but we're also launching a whole year of content. And there's two ways you can look at it. All right, great. So we're getting this great new expansion. It's going to be a lot of fun, and they've got a lot of great stuff planned for us. B, you could look at it like they've got this great new expansion. It's going to be okay. Maybe not everything you wanted, so we want you to kind of look at what else we got coming too.
Right.
And maybe a little bit of something in between that, because I don't think that in any one given expansion, Bungie can deliver everything everybody wants, right?
Right.
But I think that they want to set the tone for a successful year 3 and kind of lay out the groundwork. And I'm totally bought in, man. I'm sold. Like, lay it out. Let's see what you got. I'm excited.
Yep. I'm right there with you. You know, it's like we know one thing for sure this season is obviously we're getting something comparable to a Rise of Iron size of an expansion. And while many of us did like Rise of Iron, you know, it wasn't a huge expansion. So I think we're kind of taking that as, you know, maybe the following year we'll get something more Forsaken size. But what we are getting is, you know, we're starting to see even more of the foundation laid for this vision that Bungie has for Destiny, right? And I think we're going to get hints of that this season.
I think Luke Smith even used the term yearly expansion in the Vidoc.
Right.
And that might be just, you know, that's going to be the new model. And I think that is probably more sustainable. And I would prefer just to have really big expansions every year than to have like really small, like piecemeal, like DLCs, you know, that are kind of like just a little bit of stuff to chew on, but not enough. It's like an appetizer, you know, rather than a meal.
Yeah.
I think that they're laying down like a cool narrative that will expand into something else over the year that will be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I agree.
But some cool things in this this documentary, if you will. Can we just settle on that? That I noticed, and you noticed as well, that we thought were cool to talk about for a minute. First off, there's this awesome sword clash emote.
Yeah.
That I wasn't sure what it was the first couple times I saw it until it was confirmed online. Because I was like looking at it thinking it was a Guardian like fighting a Hive Knight or something, you know, with a sword. But then I found out that it's an emote you can perform with someone. And apparently it is a very high tier award on the season pass thing, rank, if you will. I still don't know what it's called.
Thing. Yeah, I know. I wish they would define that, even though they have, but it's still kind of confusing.
As well, later in the Vidoc, there was a preview, or not even a preview. They showed a whiteboard, which, you know, they know everything they show in this thing. People are gonna pick apart, right?
I do wonder how many times they watch it and how many people watch it, because everything seems intentional, you know, as far as maybe we're wrong. Maybe they don't look at it that specifically, but they almost have to, right? I mean, getting that nice, clean, crisp angle on that whiteboard.
Right. In focus while they're talking in front of it. Yeah. But they show, there's like some interesting columns, like you see names, and a lot of them are like basically redacted, but it did show a name for the season after Undying, which has the word Dawn associated with it. And there's also like this column, I want to say it was like player fantasy or something, or player objective or world objective, something like that. And it said fix the timeline. That's an interesting proposal in Destiny.
Right.
Like, is the timeline going to be broken this season? We'll find out. But it stretched out to season 11, and then it had year 5 or year 4, year 5, year 6. So they're definitely looking ahead, you know, at what's going to be coming down the line.
Right.
There were some preview screens when they were talking about armor and different things, and some sharp eyes caught a ghost shell that has been in demand since vanilla Destiny 1. Did you catch it?
Oh yeah, dude. The oh my goodness, the harpy,
The
right?
harpy, man.
Yes.
Always wanted a little harpy ghost, and they were sporting one. Now, do you think it's going to be an Eververse item?
I saw some chatter in my feed, and I thought they had found confirmation, but I was thinking people thought the season rank thing, but I guess it's maybe it was Eververse. I don't know for sure. I don't think, obviously we don't know for sure, but
I did see
saw some chatter in my feed,
a post online, and it seems that some information was already data mined with information on what's in the pass. I don't even think it was pulled from the API. I think there's info on like some of the sites on Bungie.net that list like what the rewards are for the season. And there's like a graphic somebody posted, and it shows 1 through like 100 like pictures of what you get. It doesn't have any text or anything. I don't know if it's valid. Just saying, you can go find it if you're interested. They also show off some Guardians with some really high power levels, over 1,000, which was interesting. I don't know what that's going to mean for some of the activities in Destiny, but
I know they seem to be putting a lot of focus on like the limitlessness there, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just thinking about this too. I also saw a screenshot from that doc as well, and they were hovering over like different difficulty levels for the Nightfall, and there was like 4 different difficulty levels, and the final one, I want to say, was power level 980, and it had a whole list of modifiers on it, and it had lists of drops, and one of the drops, like the guaranteed drops, was an exotic tier.
Right.
But there's a possibility that could be a material as well. But if it's an item, people are wondering, hey, this could be a cool way to, hey, at least one character per week, like get a shot at an exotic item. Which I think would be great. Like to have it seems like it's going to be super hard, but it would be cool to have a firm like shot at an exotic every week. I mean, we kind of had that like in Destiny 1. You had a really, really good chance of getting an exotic drop from Nightfalls. It wasn't guaranteed, but a lot of people got them there. Usually,
it seemed like at least once a week, if you were in your 3 Nightfalls, you'd probably get an exotic. I mean, way back, it's how I got. I mean, you still remember, right? I got Suros, and I think Hawkmoon, and eventually my Yellerhorn. Like, and they are definitely putting an emphasis on like our control over difficulty of Nightfalls, right? So maybe an aspect of that is coming back.
I'd like that. It would give
I would too.
A better reason to be doing those activities. You know, they showed off the Lectern of Enchantment, which is, if you've seen the Destiny Collector's Edition for Shadowkeep, there's this cool little item that looks like I guess a lantern, right? With runes on it and like dials, almost like a lock. And it showed in a preview screen almost like a vendor, and they're discussing how you can somehow use this mechanic to they're saying make items your own if you don't like what you get. It seems like they're alluding to the fact that you can, put in materials and generate items somehow, almost similar to like Menagerie and stuff like that, which I think is cool. I like the mechanic that we got with Menagerie, in that you can put in a combination and get an item out, right?
Right. Yeah, and even, of course, as we know with Menagerie, it's old items in there. I mean, it seems as though that's went over very well with the community the last couple of seasons. We got an iteration of that with Black Armory, and then definitely full force with Menagerie. So I don't think anybody would complain if some aspect of that came back.
Yeah, I think that would be great. So hopefully the execution on the reward mechanic is a little more, better investment for your time. And it may not even be activity based. It may just be go out, farm the materials you need to generate it, or perhaps you put them in and then you go complete an activity and it gives you the thing, just like Menagerie, right? With your chalice. It might have to do with the nightmare hunts or something like that and give you a reason to be running those, which sound like fun because who doesn't love like boss fights in Destiny? I mean, that's, I always love boss fights.
Yep.
So that looks really cool. I'm excited about that idea. And they kind of alluded to the fact that we may see some of the reward mechanics from previous seasons show up in an iteration, in the director's cut. That's something Luke Smith kind of talked about or talked around sort of, so that it would make sense, It's something I'm really excited about. That sounds awesome. That's going to be a really big change from what we've seen in the past, is that they're going to be telling one continuous story throughout the year, right? So it's going to build on itself. Things will happen that you could miss and you'll want to be there each season. But they specifically say, like, season 11, something is going to happen and like things are going to come together that's going to be really big and is going to be a big event, which that's going to be, that would be like year 3, the season that we're in now, right?
Right.
Kind of the season before the next year's possible expansion, if that's the thing. And a lot of the time in Destiny, this time of year before an expansion is usually, exciting because people are getting ready, but also kind of a lull in the game itself. And I think it could be really, use the word exciting again, to have something really big going on. Like imagine a big story event taking place right now and some new content and something we've never seen before was happening right now in Destiny. We got stuff with the season, but that happened, a little while ago, and everybody kind of blew through that content pretty quick. And now everybody's just kind of resting on their laurels until Shadowkeep comes out. But this is an exciting prospect, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. We've gotten pieces of this information over the last many weeks, and we've talked about it some. But I think any element of this in the story to bring each season together is going to be a big deal. And they've even hinted at like the world changing. Now, granted, it may not be like these huge things happening that change the world forever. It could be, who knows? But even in the plot line or the story, like it just will excite us even more each season. I think I completely agree, especially like you're saying, they've told us straight up like season 11 will be this wrap up and lead into so I don't know, it's cool. I like it. It seems it's exciting. You already said the word, and this whole next year, while we've been here before in different aspects of watching Destiny grow and Bungie make it what they want it to be with the community's feedback, it's just going to be fun to be a part of it this year and see where we go. So
yeah,
can't wait.
Also the tease of a new dungeon, which I'm super excited to see. That was something that came up a lot with friends that I talked about this week. They're like, new dungeon, this is great. And there's a difference between these dungeons and the missions that we've seen associated with what do we see, like Whisper the Worm and 0 Hour, stuff like that. So I'm excited they're kind of showing that off. Like that's going to be a big piece of content for PvE.
Don't they even say in the vidoc, and I think they've said this before, that they want dungeons to be like kind of feel like a raid challenge, except for the three Guardian Fire team.
I think that when we got Shattered Throne with Forsaken, that was their design intent, was like a raid
experience.
Raid experience with a smaller scale. And even Shattered Throne was designed and tested, for the solo player in mind too, for a higher challenge. So these are pretty cool. And you go deep into the moon, and there's all kinds of swirly, grindy things to kill you. Mm-hmm. And you're going, I always feel like they do an excellent job when we're going deep down into something,
right?
Like,
we've done that a few times.
There's just that, I don't know, that fantasy element of like, it reminds me a little bit of Lord of the Rings, like going deep into the mines of Moria, right? Mm-hmm. Like that adventure, and you don't know what you're going to find. But we do see what we're going to find is an enormous flaming, what seems to be Psylocke the Defiled has returned. We don't really know, but
yeah, dude, some of those
fiery knight
shots were just amazing looking. Yeah,
he looks huge, man.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely
I don't know
enormous.
if it was just the angle, but it looked awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to fight a boss in Destiny who, like, you're just as big as his toe, which I think we kind of got that with Oryx. But I just want like a big boss stomping around while you try to kill him.
Yeah, like it's next to. Yeah,
just ridiculously huge.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk PvP for a minute. There's some PvP talk in there.
Yeah, there was. We actually went back and watched it again before we started recording to make sure we heard them right. But I mean, they basically, like we got with the PvE aspect attention wise on the game the last year or so, they basically just straight up say, this year is their renewed focus on PvP the entire year. So, they kind of lay out a few ways that at least we know right now that it is a renewed focus for them. And we've learned, of course, with Crucible Labs, that elimination is going to be in there, but it's what is it? They said a new variation each week on that mode, I guess, right?
Yeah, that
elimination
sounds cool.
Specifically.
I know that they kind of said that would be the idea, right? Like they would launch it and test it around, but I think it was Lars that was talking and said basically like every week after it launches, there will be a new variation on it. I think that's going to be fun. Like that made me excited for it just right there. I was like, okay, cool. Like I'll go in with my fire team. We'll play elimination each week, like on the weekend or something, and we'll try it out and then come back the next week. I mean, I don't know. It's almost going to be like trials a little bit. Like, look,
I know, right? A little bit. Yeah. Yeah. And I think we even mentioned this on an episode before, because they've talked about Crucible Labs with this several times, and they haven't shown it a lot of attention. And in their defense, I feel like it would be hard to maintain something like that while you're also trying to maintain this huge game and a live PvP Crucible aspect, not, let alone the PvE side of it. Mm-hmm. So to me, like, and again, I think we've talked about this, to just say, okay, this season it's elimination. And we're going to vary up elimination each week or, once a month, but keep Crucible Labs live with this mode, and you guys just provide us your feedback. I feel like maybe that'll be easier for them to maintain. Like maybe adopt that model each season. Crucible Labs is always there, and we just throw a new game mode we're tossing around in there, and that's what it is for the season, right? Maybe it'll become stale, a month or two in, but at least Crucible Labs is there and we're providing feedback on something versus not even being utilized at all, right?
Yeah, so next season will be Big Battle Rift. So we'll have vehicles, tanks, and it'll all be Rift based, right? That's the next season? No,
yeah, so I think that's cool. Of course I'm excited because Elimination is the first one up.
Yeah. Let's keep it there.
Yeah, right.
Just kidding. Yeah, but no, that got me excited, and I think it'll be fun when that launches to jump in and like play some old school Elimination and see what kind of rule sets or rounds or how it's gonna work, and people will have the opportunity to deliver feedback on what they like and what doesn't. And so ultimately, whenever elimination comes out, like a brand new boy, all shiny and new for Destiny 2, everybody, like, it'll be better than it could be because the community has seen it. And Bungie talk about this a lot. I think Luke Smith even said something about this in that interview he did on the Kind of Funny thing a couple weeks ago. He said, like, by the time the game is launched for an hour, like the player has played more, like, overall than the whole studio tested it over like a year or something, you know, like, just that's not I'm paraphrasing, but the point is getting something like that into so many more players' hands just gives it a better opportunity for success, because you're just focus testing it for the whole community. So whenever you get like the official elimination, hopefully it'll be the best version that we can get, right?
Definitely.
I can't wait to get spawn killed or to get res sniped in PvP in Destiny 2. It's going to be awesome. Got to practice on those res pushes, man. Get ready. All right, I'll res them. You push them. Let's go.
You know, those drove me crazy back in the day, even me. But man, something about that Crucible just worked.
I'm gonna get out my last word and my favorite sniper. Go to Widow's Court. Have a good time with some kind of rocket launcher. I don't know.
Yep.
You know.
You got it.
It's going to be great.
Widow's Court. I can't wait. Just missing my NLB.
Yeah. Oh, tough. It's tough out there for you. Yeah. So that was a lot of the highlights of the Vidoc there. Go check it out. I love the ending. You know, Luke says, you know, what did he say? Like, exactly. He said, are we close to being
well,
done?
he was talking.
Are we getting, or not even close, or something like that?
Yeah, because he was talking about how much they've accomplished since Forsaken. Yeah, and he's like, are we even close? And he's like, I wish I all I have to do is pull up my tweet. It was like a total of 5 words. But basically, in other words, they're not even close to finished with fine tuning this game. They
just says,
have a.
Are we
vision.
done? No, not even close.
Yes. Yep.
Which made me like think about long term, you know, like if we're not even close, then we got a lot of Destiny left to ride out.
Yeah, and he even uses the phrase in this vidoc again, where he's used in his director's cuts. He used, I think, in every anything we've seen him in, I think is, and I won't quote it exactly right, but just that concept of it being an evolving world, you know, and he's drilling hard on that, obviously coming from the team. So it's exciting, man. It's an exciting year. It's like, I know we've been patient as Guardians and Destiny players, and we've had ups and downs. We've the game's in a great place right now, and man, it just seems like it's going places even more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, next up in This Week at Bungie, they talk about the world's first belts and costume mode. Contest mode will be active for the first 24 hours of the Garden of Salvation raid. That's on Saturday, October 5th. By the way, the first ever, I think, Saturday launch for a raid.
Yeah.
It's exciting. So contest mode will be active for 24 hours, just like the Crown of Sorrow. And they mentioned some of the power deltas that we'll experience. So the first fight, power over 890, does not provide an advantage. And for the final fight, power over 920 does not provide an advantage. So essentially, if you can get up in that range, you know, you'll be able to jump in the first 24 hours and play, and kind of sets an even playing field for those who have the time to grind and want to jump in there. And then after that 24-hour period ends, we will disable contest mode, and players can take full advantage of their higher power to overcome the raid's challenges. And they show off a cool picture of the custom world's first belt. It's got kind of like a teal color to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neato.
Did you like, I was going to just briefly ask, did you like contest mode last go around?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was a great idea. We didn't, how far did we get? I'm trying to remember the first night. Like, for what we did, I enjoyed it. I think the problem was we just were still a little underpowered, perhaps, because we just we could have kept grinding power, but at some point we had to stop and just go do the raid if we were going to take advantage of contest mode. And then one or two of us didn't even really get to grind, so they were underpowered. For us, we just weren't totally prepared. But I think it's a great idea, and I'm hoping to take better advantage of it. Yeah, this go around.
Yeah, I'm sure we talked about it after that point at that raid. But you being the raider between the two of us, I was curious to hear again your thoughts on contest mode, and of course the Saturday launch. So it's gonna be cool.
And I think a lot of it's gonna have to do with if the raid is made to be accessible in a way that's realistic, without contest mode, it'll make a bigger difference. But I don't know. There's just so much you don't know going into a raid, because the design team can do all kinds of different things. I mean, we've seen just so many different philosophies about what they want out of that first week kind of take place, right? Like, we've seen stuff that's highly accessible. We've seen things like Last Wish that was highly punishing because they wanted it to be highly punishing. And you just don't know how they're going to launch this raid. But hopefully, I'm not going like crazy with prep for the raid or anything. So I'm hoping, those Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I don't know, 4 or 5 days or whatever before the raid that I have, that I'll be able to spend a realistic amount of time to get within range. And if that's the case, then I'll be happy about contest mode. But if I got to grind 3 characters through all the content to be 900 or whatever, then it still doesn't matter. You know what I mean? If I got to play for 16 hours a day just to get to that, then it's moot. But because that's essentially, for Last Wish, that's what you had to do. You had to play 3 characters, and you had to grind through all of it on one, let that power level on the guns boost you up a little on the second one, grind that one through, and then your raid guy was your third one. And by then, the guns that you had starting out through the campaign pushed you up enough so that when you got to the end of the grind for that character, you were high enough power to do what you needed to do for the raid. I just couldn't do that. And I played pretty hard that week up to that, and it really kind of left me disappointed. So I hope that they change that aspect a little bit. It's a long answer to a simple question.
No, it's exactly what I was going for.
Yeah.
You're the raider, man. So that's the feedback we need.
I guess so.
Let's see.
They show off a couple of cool emblems. They've got an emblem for anyone who completes the raid within 24 hours, and then a second one for anyone who completes the raid period. No news about jackets this go around, and it might just be assumed, but it's possible they don't do those this time. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very possible.
If there wasn't enough people taking advantage of them, it might not stick around. I don't know. We'll see. They also say, stay tuned as we reveal more Bungie rewards in Season of the Undying. So, we'll see.
Emblems are cool. I like them.
Yeah, emblems. Who doesn't love an emblem?
Emblems, right?
Way to
nice solid design
what you've been doing. Yeah. They talked next about everyone's favorite UI bug, which is when you apply a shader or a mod and nothing occurs.
It's funny to see this in here.
The bar would fill up, but the desired action would not be applied. They mentioned back in update 2.5.0, they issued a fix for this issue, and it worked, but only kind of. So they give a really pretty detailed explanation for why it still was not completely solved. And without getting too into it, ultimately it had to do with safeguards that were in place to prevent you from applying something that you didn't mean to, or applying something when you receive something in your inventory and it moves stuff over, and just safeguards and stuff like that. So they say in 2.6.0, their plan is to make some tweaks, and hopefully it will solve the problem.
We shall see.
Apparently this was a bigger issue on PC, because it's so easy to move your mouse a tiny bit while you're clicking something, and that had to do with some of those protections. I've never noticed it because I don't spend enough time on PC, but I can see that. I can see it. Have you been playing on the PC some more?
Yeah, I have actually.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I enjoy it. You know, it doesn't degrade my console experience at all, but I do enjoy being able to hop on PC and my Guardians being there. I mean, the most noticeable thing is loading. I mean, I know there's other noticeable things, but the loading is nice.
Yeah.
And the interface, man, it's made so well for a controller, but it's made so, I mean, it's just designed, it seems like it was always for a mouse. I mean, that is the obvious role of that little node,
that free
right?
cursor,
Yeah, it is a mouse. But yeah, no, I've been playing on both, dude. It's been nice. I got the PC obviously set up in the game room, and then 2 PlayStations in the house. So it's amazing, dude. I mean, we finally got cross save and everyone was hyped, and we did talk about it for a little bit, but man, it seems like it's just something that we always needed.
It is, man. And I wanted to mention this last week and I forgot, but I was having some technical issues with Destiny 2 on PC not performing as intended. I was having like some frame rate problems. It would be running great, at 100 frames plus, and then for some reason I'd boot it up and it was like stuck at 30, and I'm like, what is going on? And I was able to sort through is actually pretty simple fixes. By the way, if you're having this problem, make sure that you are running the game in, I'm about to tell you real quick because I'm gonna look at, I'm not on PC. I think it needs to be ran in full screen mode.
Oh, right.
Run it in bordered or windowed, it can drastically impact your performance.
Yeah, I switched back over to full screen. I love being able to tab out and see it on there, but I'm like, no, this isn't worth it.
That's why I was doing that. The other thing was I realized it was because I had moved the output to my 4K monitor because I wanted to play on that, but the graphics card I have, it's not going to push a game like Destiny out at 4K, but it was trying to. So I was only getting 30 FPS at that resolution. So I had to go in and tweak the output resolution to just a 1080 on the same monitor, and it still looks great. And then I got the better frames. So the colorization looks really good because it's a good monitor, and it's better than like, just the regular display monitors I was playing on. But yeah, like a 1060 is not going to reliably run at 4K with good frames. So you got to pick. Do you want the resolution or do you want the frames? Yeah. And on PC, I'm here for the frames, my friend.
That's funny. You were, I think I saw, or we had chatted a little bit. You were having issues a little bit after playing, but I couldn't even remember get mine to launch. Then I figured out mine was a input output issue, but I haven't had any issues since. So I'm excited about that.
Oh, and then this is what I really meant to bring up last week, was through the course of all this, I found, and I remember finding this when it launched on PC, but if you go to geforce.com, GEFORCE.com, they have a guide specifically for Destiny 2, and it's titled Destiny 2 PC Graphics and Performance Guide. And it literally goes, because there's a ton of display settings on PC in Destiny 2. And it goes through every single one, and it will tell you based on like what kind of hardware you have, how each setting will affect you. And some of them will surprise you. They'll be like, listen, you can totally run this at the highest setting because changing it will impact like less than a frame per second. And then some can be really significant. So in myself, I had no idea what some of these settings should be at. Like I kind of knew what they were, but I didn't know the best thing to run. So if you want to really optimize to get the best performance you can on your PC, and you don't have like, you know, your 2070 or Ti or whatever, which some of you have, and I'm green with jealous envy, go check out this guide. And it's kind of long, but if you're on PC, you're obviously a min-maxer nerd, so you're going to want to read this anyways.
For sure. Yeah.
It's really handy. Just go to Google, type in, you know, geforce.com Destiny 2, and you'll probably find the guide.
There you go.
Some tips.
Yeah. Very nice.
For you too, AER0KNIGHT.
Yes.
Go
I didn't know that existed.
Speaking of optimization, over in Destiny Player Support, they will be acting as your ground control as they go over the final checklist before launch. So they talk a little bit about deployment and PC migration. On October 1st, prior to the official launch of Shadowkeep, Destiny 2 will be taken offline for maintenance on all platforms. During this maintenance window, PC players who have linked their Steam accounts to their Bungie.net profile will automatically have their Guardians and Silver transferred from Battle.net to Steam. Here's a really interesting wrinkle in this launch. So apparently, migrated PC players should be aware that there will be a delay in the transfer of their Destiny 2 Forsaken licenses from Battle.net to Steam. They go on to say that after the launch, the license transfers will continue in the background until complete, but until that's done, you'll not be able to access some specific Forsaken content. And because they're kind of chopping up what's available for New Light for free and what's not, they give some examples. So you won't be able to play Forsaken campaign missions, quest content, the Last Wish raid, or the Shattered Throne dungeon, which is interesting. If you're going to be like grinding your butt off for power, you may not be able to do this stuff right away.
Right. Yeah.
Who knows how long this is going to take? I mean, I don't know if they expect this to take a day or if it could take a week. Who knows? But something to keep in mind.
Yeah. That's it. Definitely an interesting wrinkle.
Yeah. And then they say things that are bundled in New Light that you will be able to do are Gambit playlist activities, Forsaken Strikes, Forsaken Maps and Crucible, patrols on the Tangled Shore, patrols on the Dreaming City. So interesting stuff there. They talk about Battle.net code redemption. Any Battle.net code you possess for Destiny 2 content must be redeemed before PC migration. So, like if you had a code for Forsaken on Battle.net or something like that, and you haven't redeemed it, you better do it before October 1st, because after that, it's worthless.
Right.
Finally, another reminder to Steam Link. If you want to migrate, link that Steam account.
I know every time you go to Bungie.net right now, it's like drops down from the top of the website. You go to it, it's like, you're all good. Done everything you can do.
I mean, every time I launch Bungie.net, it's like, Destiny 2 PC is moving to Steam for Shadowkeep launch. It just stays up there.
Have you prepared?
Are you ready? Are you ready, kids?
Better than not being ready, I suppose.
Aye, aye, Captain. I think the biggest thing on everybody's mind isn't addressed at all this week, and that's preloading, which is a really big deal if you're going to be on PC. Not so much. Right. I mean, it's a little important on console because from what we've heard, this expansion might be kind of girthy, but we don't know yet on PC because we're moving to a different storefront if we're going to have to totally download the game once again, because that could be over 100 gigs.
Right.
And on most bandwidth, that's going to take a while.
Right, yeah. It's, well, yeah, not to mention, of course, the classic PlayStation process of updating and downloading. Yeah, I actually accidentally... I was deleting some games off of my Pro that is hardwired, and that's what we have in our game room, and I accidentally deleted Destiny 2 off of it. Yeah, dude. And luckily, like I've mentioned, we've got 2 PS4s, so I had still installed on the other one to hop on it while the other one downloaded. But yeah, I mean, it's a even at, I think we have 60, 70. No. We have 100 down, like 10 or 11 up, somewhere around there is usually where it sets, and it still takes a while to download that game, man.
I've reinstalled Destiny twice in the past month on PC because maybe even more. When cross save was getting ready to happen, I had to download a bunch of the updates, so I did that. Then after I did that, like, it was on my boot drive SSD, and it was just totally almost out of space. I was like, this is bad. So I uninstalled it and put it on another hard disk that's like a hybrid drive. And then in the course of like doing something else, I found a really good deal on another SSD. And so I was like, okay, I need this for my games. So I just installed it last week. And so I once again uninstalled Destiny 2, re-downloaded it again, and put it on that drive. And so every time I did it, it took like overnight. I mean, it's a big game, and I have like 100, 300, which is pretty darn good compared to most of the country. And I mean, it takes a while because you're kind of constrained by the server that you're downloading from. So the best I was getting was like 30 to 50 megabits. At best at sometimes, and that's going to take a while. But I have friends who like, they have playable internet, but it might be like 1 up, 10 down. And you're not going to even get 10 down when you're downloading something. So if they got to download 100 gigs, it could take like days.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
So
this reminds me too, another thing I got to figure out, I'm sure all the PlayStation players will share with me, is the way they do their process, which we talked about many times. I've got like 100+ gigs free on mine, but of course, like we know the way they do it, it doesn't think that's enough space. And I've got to transfer. I've got like 200 gigs of saved clips from Destiny 1 to now. That I've got to get transferred over so that I don't spend the first hour or more of Shadowkeep. Yeah, I've got to prep for that. So just a warning for anybody that's in that scenario, because every time we get one of these decent size updates in these seasons, I've had to kind of play around with that, delete a game or do something of that nature. But I don't know, man. It is so busted on the PS4 side.
I don't hard quote me on this if you're listening, but I want to say that the rumor is like after the new expansion downloads, it's going to be like 136 gigs or something.
Yeah,
crazy.
No, I think you're right. Yep.
So
we heard it at some point.
Yeah, I know that they're kind of hesitant to like give us hard numbers on that stuff, but until it happens. But so I do know, I saw on Reddit, I think Cosmo responded and said they've made the team aware of the desire to preload, and they'll have more news for us on that front one way or another coming up this week. So, I mean, the thing is, though, in the past, this hasn't been a problem for a while.
Right.
But I think with the migration to Steam, there's a lot more technical issues to sort out with that, right? And my concern is, even if it's the day before, like they're gonna get hit pretty hard with hundreds of thousands of people downloading the game just for PC, outside of the the console expansions, stuff like that.
Yep, for sure. There's a lot going on with this release. There's no doubt about that.
Well, I can't remember what it was I was listening to as well that I think Noseworthy was alluding to the fact that there's ways that they think that they can decrease the size of the game, but it could literally require for you to completely re-download the whole game to do it. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know what this was that I was. Where did I hear this?
I think so. Don't remember
Maybe
specifically
it was something at
where it was
Gamescom.
from.
So
I remember them talking about removing portions of the game eventually.
Yeah, and they were like,
they continue this.
They're like, yeah, we're trying to, because that may not be fair or realistic, so we're trying to weigh that out. But I don't know. I mean, that might be smart at some point, maybe in a year from now, to just say, all right, here's a whole new, you just got to start from scratch and
just download it all again
to keep it reasonable. Hey, you want to keep your stuff? Reinstall the game.
Re-download the entire client.
I think people could live with that, I guess.
I definitely could.
All right, anyways, we're going to move on from this. So prep. We'll talk about prep for the expansion coming up here. We got movies of the week that you'll want to check out. Remember Double XP? Double Experience?
Yeah,
they got a movie of the week going for them.
Yeah.
Oh, Listener Mine featuring
Old school. Yeah.
Featuring Bones. And then an honorable mention, a little clip of a Yotun prop that was pretty legit. Did you see this on Twitter?
I did not, I don't think.
It's really cool. It's got light up and servos moving the paddles on the side of it.
Oh, I did. I did see this. Yeah, I did see this.
It's really cool. High quality stuff.
Yeah. I was scrolling down still into this.
If I had room for another hobby in my life, it would be prop making.
Yeah.
Seriously, I would so enjoy. It's one of those things all right, how long are you going to say it till you do it? But one of these days. Yeah,
that thing was ridiculous.
It's pretty cool, man. Cosmo's back from his hiatus, taking care of his baby. So he wrote this here, TWAB. So welcome back, Cosmo. Dim G had to jumpstart his heart this week. That was a thing that happened.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's got a heart condition, so he had to get a little jumpstart to fix an arrhythmia. How do you pronounce it? You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Wish
him well.
Yep, but he's doing okay.
Better.
Thank goodness. Can't be having no Guardians down.
No.
We had
at launch time, especially.
Yeah, for real. We had a little hot fix, 2.5.2.3. Annual pass content is now available to all Forsaken players of Destiny 2. And all negative modifiers have been removed from the Reckoning.
Nice.
What do you think about the free annual pass content now?
Man, I try to look at other angles of things, but I don't really understand this. This has never been an issue really, for me, at least not as of late, because you pay to experience it for a solid year, right? And then whatever we can do to get more Guardians in after that. I mean, it's been a full year. Open that stuff up and let's get them in here, right?
Yeah.
At least that's my take on it. I think that's a lot of Guardians takes, but why not?
Right.
Yeah. You?
I think it's cool. I don't have any problem with it. There's always those people who are like, I paid full price for this. What are you going to do for me now that you've given it for free? But but you played it all this year. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
yeah,
it's like going to Five Guys, right? And you order a burger, and they're like, you're going to get this burger combo, and you get it and you eat it. And then Five Guys is about to close, and they give away the extra hamburgers. And you're like, what about the burger I paid for? Well, yeah, you ordered that, and it was hot and delicious. These have been sitting out for 3 hours, and we're giving them to people that are hungry. That's my analogy for what's happening here.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand like a double take of it. I even kind of think about it a little bit, but it's, at that point, it's especially the, wrapping up this year. What we paid for the content we got is just really unreal in my eyes. And, I mean, it was great value and not really that much, at least for me and, from my perspective. And then, when it's been a full year and we've been playing it, like, let's let some Guardians in, experience it. We're about to start some new stuff. So why not, get them in the game? That's what I hope New Light will do. And, this Shadow Keep and this new seasonal stuff. I mean, we've seen it in the Derp Him Discord. I mean, there are Guardians hopping in, dude, and that's exciting, right? That's I
think as
something
well
to be excited about.
Not only is this like they keep focusing on, hey, let's like bring down barriers, let's make things accessible for people. This also probably simplifies some of the fine details of what's free and what's not. If you own Forsaken, you get all the stuff from the rest of the year. It's not like, all right, you have to do a check. Do you own Forsaken? Yes. Do you own Black Armory season? No. Okay, you can't do this. Like it probably was going to get really complicated if they didn't do this.
That's a really good point. That definitely, I think you're right on their end. It's like, okay, this makes it way easier from a Forsaken content's perspective.
Besides the fact that there may be some legal ramifications because technically like Activision was involved in the development with High Moon in some of the first like Black Armory and I think Joker's Wild and like selling that stuff. There may have been royalties involved and they may have just been able to negotiate a deal where they were like, all right, we paid you out, we're buying you out of this. And then they're just like, all right, we're going to give it away for free. We don't have to worry about any Activision coming to look for money later on funds we collect on this because we discount it with a bundle. And how much is that worth? And you know what I mean? Yeah. Like,
oh yeah, dude. That's another good point. I mean, with any business, I mean, especially in this regard as a player, there's probably so much that goes on behind the scenes in that regard.
From the publishing aspect, like they probably got to make it as cut and dry and free and clear as they can,
Right.
So
this will do it.
If you're sad, I don't know, like, it wasn't that much money. You probably got a lot of content out of it. What can you get for like $10 to $20 in gaming right now? I mean, you can get some cool stuff, but a whole year of new content is pretty good value. I'm sure you got your money's worth. Just saying. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, to me, and again, everyone's different, at least their perspective, obviously. But man, just looking back now, it's like the amount we paid for each of those seasons. Granted, one of the stipulations was that you had to buy them all. But when you look at it seasonal basis, like we're gonna be able to do going forward, it's like, wow, dude, that's quite a bit of content. It's pretty cool. So anyways, overall I think it's cool. I can't wait to see all the Guardians hopefully that come about with all this new breaking down the barriers coming this fall, man. Yep, new lighters. It's gonna be exciting.
Hey, there was some other cool stuff launched this week that I was very pleased to see. We got some narrative preview.
Dude. Yeah, I was gonna just have you lead off with that, man. With the being the lore guy that you are, Cyborg. What did you think? I actually just read finally. Yes, there is. I just finally read through all of them today. I hadn't gotten to them. I started the first one, and then I didn't think they were going to release them that quickly. Because Deej, he said when he tweeted out, this is 1 of 5. And then boom, I mean, was it 1 a day?
Yeah, every day.
Basically.
And in the past, they've done them just once a day. back to back.
Yeah.
So
I was just expecting maybe like it to go into next week. Anyways, yeah, dude, they were interesting. The first one, leading into, I don't know, it was interesting stuff. What'd you think?
It was great to catch up on what Eris has been up to, because that's been a big question mark. Like we had some, there's a couple lore cards that kind of said what she was up to post Rise of Iron, like when she left, but we didn't know where. We didn't know where she'd been, what she'd been up to. We had some kind of idea that she was probably doing something with Marasov because she has a relationship there. We just didn't know what, and we hadn't heard anything about it. So it was really cool to get at least an idea or a clue of where she's been and what she's been up to. But the problem is, like, a lot of the language seems intentionally like murky and leaving a lot up to interpretation of exactly what we're hearing and who might be speaking, and Eris doesn't even totally know
who's talking to her. Man.
And then there's always, like, inevitably, especially from the lore community, the conspiracy theories, like, well, maybe that's not really Marasov, and we're like, how did she get teleported to the Dreaming City, and maybe it's all Vasad and it's Savathun pretending to be Mara, and all blah 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 blah, right?
I know, that was what I was thinking. It's like, wait, how does she know this? But you know, they kind of even hint with Tolan, like little subtle response
right
that he has, like, that she knows.
Yes. And I think
it's interesting.
I think I heard through the grapevine it was confirmed two things that were, like, in limbo about these this week. One was people were going really nuts because there was some weird formatting issues in the entries that created an additional space between some words, and people were taking that and using Cade's code sequence that we learned in Forsaken and, like, piecing together words to create messages, and some of them made sense. And so people were like, there's a secret code, but Cosmo was like, no, it was just a weird website thing. So that was crushed. And then I also heard word that one of the writers or somebody said, like, no, it's really Marasov in that entry that she's talking about. Like, there's no, weird thing going on there. So, but some of the other thing is, like, some of it's hard to date. You don't know in our timeline of what's happened with Forsaken and stuff exactly when some of this has taken place.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I saw a non-tweet about that too, trying to figure out the timeline.
Yeah, it may not matter. The long and short is, like, how and why Eris got from, like, when she first left the last city and is now at the moon. And she's definitely chasing after whatever Savathun is up to. Like, that's definitely a central figure in whatever's happening. And there's something on the moon, which we already know, it's about to be unleashed. Something interesting somebody brought up this week that was a really good point was there has been no central antagonist teased for this expansion. And a lot of the time, even if it's not the central antagonist, there's an antagonist featured in the marketing. And it seems like the antagonist that we've seen thus far is kind of an idea, right? They've introduced, like, oh, there's these nightmares and blah, blah, blah. But there's something else driving that. And so it's either because it's going to be a really, really big reveal of something mega important or bad, or there's not really a central antagonist. So we're kind of going to be, like, let down a little bit. I don't know which.
Who knows? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the way they're teasing the story of the year carrying through the seasons, who knows, right, man? Like, yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Good point.
I guess we'll see. But these were fun. Definitely exciting to read, and kind kind of cue up what we're fixing to see.
Yeah, was it the second one was super interesting because that's when obviously she knew it wasn't her old fire team talking to her, but
right.
Man, that one was good. That was a good one.
Yeah, and she really doesn't even know what's causing that. Like she posits that it's Savathun like tricking her, but it's probably something else entirely.
Right.
She doesn't know, you know? I don't know.
Good stuff.
It's cool. It's interesting. Last bit of news this week. We were talking earlier about Jotun, as Joe calls it. Joe mean.
I think I've even called it that.
Yeah. A really interesting bug surfaced. It apparently had already been found, but it was there was a YouTuber who, and forgive me, you deserve credit, but your name escapes me, posted a video about this, and there's a bug with Jotun where if you're close enough to an enemy that the blast will damage the enemy, but also you, there's some kind of damage scaling that increases the damage dramatically. And so obviously the community finding out about this, some of our favorite PvE vanquishers went out and tried it out on different raid bosses, and it's way broken.
Oh yeah,
ridiculously broken. So immediately, and the reason for this being is everybody's concerned. They're like, if this is the case, we do not want this to taint the world's first race. And I love the attitude of the community, like, hey, let's go all test this out and race and figure this out so we can bring it to Bungie's attention. They can do something about it now. Let's not let somebody cheese their way to a world's first and ruin this for everybody, right? I just love that. So Bungie responded pretty quick, and they said it's going to be disabled for that whole 24 hours of the world's first when the raid launches. They can't activity lock it, so it's just going to be locked out for that day. I don't know if they're going to be able to fix it after, before then, or whatever, but at the very least, they've got that solved.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
At least definitely. For the first 24 hours, for sure. Yeah.
So if you had that on your loadout, which is effective in PvE for lots of stuff, you have to work around it.
And PvP.
Yeah. Lord. Don't get me started. That's all the news, man. We're finally done.
A lot of news.
Lots to talk about.
I keep saying every week. Doesn't seem like there was a lot this week, but there always is a lot.
Yeah.
In comparison.
It's true. Especially when we're like leading up to a big piece of content. Big piece of pie.
Yes,
moon pie,
sir. So close. I love moon pies. Dude, have you ever had a banana moon pie?
I have, actually. We got those one day because my son wanted them, and I tried it. It was pretty good.
So good. Dude, when the solar eclipse happened, well, how long has it been ago now? Like 2-3 years ago. I don't remember. We were at work, and my work bought a bunch of moon pies, and they bought some banana ones, and we had a ton left over. So for like the next month, every morning, I had a cup of coffee, my usual cup of coffee at work, and a banana moon pie, and it was amazing.
That's great.
And I'd kind of forgotten about it until you just said that. Man, it was such a good breakfast. I mean, not healthy.
Moon pies for launch day.
We should.
All right. Get your favorite flavor, and we'll all enjoy moon pie on launch day. It'll be a thing.
I might have to go pick some of those up. I really enjoyed that in the morning.
Yeah. You know, well, total aside, I was talking with somebody about this recently, but I believe it's in Korea. In Korean culture, moon pies are like a really big deal. So much that like they're given out for like holiday gifts and stuff from employers to employees and stuff, and like bonuses. If you get bonus, you also receive moon pies. It's really crazy. Like, cool, interesting thing.
Well, yeah, it's always interesting. Reminds me, I've had a coworker that for the last, I don't think she did last year, but for several years in a row, she got me some Christmas tree zebra cakes. Because those are fantastic.
I know you love those, man. I know you do.
Man, sometimes, I mean, we've talked about it, like Christmas Cokes. I mean, sometimes the holiday stuff just...
You know that Halloween candy's out already. And I
know.
am on top of those Reese's Pumpkins right now.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
The Christmas tree ones are always good.
Yeah. Any kind of whatever shape they're making for the holiday. It's like they've got the extra
the bunnies
peanut
and
butter.
rabbits, sweet tarts, some of my favorites.
So good. My kids were eating, God forbid, I don't know what's wrong with them because I hate, candy corn, right? I hate candy corn. It's so nasty.
I can do it, but it's not like my favorite.
But I think my wife might have bought them. It was the pumpkins. So they're like big pumpkin candy corns. And they were just loving them. And I was just cringing. Like they're just chowing down on these things. Like, stop eating wax candy, kids.
What are you doing?
What's wrong with you?
I know the pumpkin ones are a lot. Like the candy corn,
They're
at least,
big,
are just like bite sized.
They're like dime sized, big old hunk of sugar and wax or whatever the heck is in candy corn. Gross.
So many people like them, though.
They liked them.
Yep.
They're kids, though. I mean, it's sugar. Like, they'll eat anything.
And he is good.
Yeah. Anyways, how about this? How was your reset, Arrow?
Oh, dude, man, my, I've mentioned the last couple weeks I haven't played a ton, and I think I noticed this week I'm just kind of doing that thing where I'm taking a little break from gaming before the new expansion launches. Yeah, like I played it several nights this week, couple nights, but I also crashed early again several nights. So
you're getting old. Man. I'm starting to worry about you.
I'm telling you, what has happened, right, in the last few weeks. I haven't even been sick or anything, knock on wood. So, but I tweeted this out after our last episode. I picked up Borderlands, right? Like the night after, or actually after we recorded that night. I kind of went and looked at it, and I'm like,
pulled the trigger.
All right, so let's just get the thing. But dude, I've played I'm enjoying it, but I've played 1 or 2 nights and I'm like level 7, I think. So I'm not very far, but I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's definitely more Borderlands, which is not a bad thing at all, which we talked about last week. But get the other games out of the way. Of course, I'm still playing Minecraft with my son, but I have to mention it this week because we went from creative to survival this week.
Oh.
Yeah, we went to the legit survival mode, and we're both kind of learning together because I always played Minecraft like here and there, but never for very long. So I don't know all the things people know about Minecraft.
Right.
So he and I are just kind of learning them together, which is awesome, super cool. And we just played today, man, for a while, and started in the survival world, and we have like this house that we built in the side of a mountain or a side of a hill we're so proud of because we just got beds in it, and we've got a couple of torches on the wall, and we've gotten a couple of zombies.
Sounds like
we got some fishing poles.
Nice little hobbit den going.
Yeah, exactly. And we're like, I mean, we're having a blast, dude. It's so fun. But we even got mom to play a little bit today, and little girl to hold a controller and act like she was playing. So we just had Minecraft going on this afternoon. But we're having fun with that. But that's always a good time. But I did get in some Destiny before the Infamy. What was it? Triple, I think. I thought it was double at first, but the Dirt Fam let me know it was triple Infamy. I thought I had saw somewhere that it was double. But anyways, I hit my reset that I needed. Got my ghost, and boom.
That's great.
100% was all I needed for my dredging. So, knocked that out. Thank you. I was proud to have it finally, dude.
Proud, question mark?
Yeah, I almost had it last season. I mentioned that, and I just couldn't do it. Like, it was the night before the season was ending, and I'm like, dude, I've got to go to bed. It's 3:34 in the morning, so I got my reset done finally.
Way to go!
This season, I didn't think it would take this long, but I mean, we had to wait a while for that Infamy boost. So that's kind of what I was waiting on.
I think there's another one this reset.
There is. There is
like 2 times.
Yeah,
maybe.
I was like, I liked last season. We got, them kind of throughout. Obviously, it was Gambit season. But anyways, got that done. And then in doing that, I knocked out 2 of the 3 requirements for my hush, dude. But man, the metals are taking me just a little bit. It seemed like I got to 50 to 60% super quick because I wasn't really, I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention to it that much. But then right when I was like, okay, it's time to get dredging, it's time to get hush. I was playing with a bow, obviously a lot. And while it was surprising me how effective I was with it, I don't think I was locking down very many metals. So now I've like switched back to my Titan main with my, my Thunder Crash loadout. And I'm just trying to just go into a tear because I want hush and I'm done with it, but I'm only at like 74% on the metals. I've even kind of went and looked at the metals and seen what you could get. Yeah. I mean, apparently some of the research I did, apparently if you do the invading, metal, army of 1 metal counts like quite a bit compared to the other ones. So I'm trying to do that frequently, but I'm just ready to have the thing. Like I like it when those pinnacle quests like balance out with each other and you kind of finish it all at the same time.
You don't want like one thing and you have like the whole percentage to do and you're kind of like, ugh.
Yeah, because now like while I'm enjoying it, like I'm ready to just have hush and I'm having to go back and play these whole games of Gambit just to get these medals.
I'm on the opposite side of that because I'd been playing a ton of Prime but not using a bow because I was doing other objectives for the triumphs. And now I think I'm doing like sentry and collector stuff, and it's not as important that I have like the best shotgun or something on. And the metals is full, but the bow kills and stuff are like 20%. I'm like, oh, this is gonna take forever. Yep.
I know. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm just gonna try and wrap that up before the season's over. I really wanted to try to roll into Mountaintop. I was planning on staying on my Warlock with that and utilizing those rifts and I'm losing the name of it, the Well of Radiance, and just try to get those one-shot fighting lion shots. But I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully I can get Hush knocked out this next reset. But we got one reset till Shadowkeep, as you're listening to this pretty much. So I don't know if I'm going to make it too far into Mountaintop, but we'll see. Anyways, what have you been up to?
Sorry, I had to fit that in. That's my song this week.
I understand. Of course.
What did I do this week at Destiny? I gave up on Shadow.
Oh, really?
I just can't, man. I kept trying. I tried all last weekend to get like the flawless menagerie boss kills done.
Yeah, I saw you just lining up
like
fire team.
We were getting really close, but like every time I've done it, when we've finally like as a team gotten the strat right and like we're prime, like, okay, a couple more runs, we'll get it done. Like one of these are going to work. So I'll be like, I got to go to bed. And so then you got to find something. It's hard to find somebody for that
activity. Start all over kind of basically.
And I'm just tired of trying to chase teams of 6 people to do something that's very low demand with no specific reward for it, you know?
Yeah.
So I was just like, you know what? After like 3 weeks of trying to chase people to do this, I'll just do it later, you know? Like I'll just do it some other time. And then it's been tough trying to get my main raid team together to try to do the flawless Crown of Sorrows. And we got together this weekend to do it. Somebody's internet dropped. Then a run got screwed up because of something I did. And everybody was just like, yeah, we just want to play Borderlands. So I'm just like, you know what? I'll get Shadow like sometime later this year or something, I guess.
Yeah, you're kind of in that time frame right now where it's probably a little bit more of a lull for several people.
I really wanted to try to get it before Shadowkeep, but it's just not going to happen. So I just kind of said, yeah, it's just not going to happen right now. I'll come back later and do it. So I'm going to just, this reset, I'm just going to play a bunch more Gambit, see if I can get a little closer or maybe finish Reckoner and just do a little cleaning up of the vault, if you will.
Yeah.
Need to clean the vault up a little bit. Definitely the material stack sizes helped a decent amount.
Yeah, me too.
And I had gotten rid of a bunch of Eververse stuff, but I've still got like some ghosts and some ships and some sparrows I can dismantle that I can reobtain and when the season starts, right? And go ahead and cash out my bright dust. Yeah. I'll do some of that. Probably dismantle a lot of armor that is eventually going to be pointless. You know, as disappointing as that is, I saved like so many cool rolls on armor perks and different stuff that is not going to be armor 2.0. So I'm just going to like pick out a few core sets of stuff that I use for different activities and just like go crazy and dismantle all the rest of it, I guess.
Yeah, I know it's I don't know if I'll be able to get rid of some of it still, but yeah,
it's hard. But I'm just gonna.
I've already did kind of one pass through, but you know you can just keep making those passes. I think I'm just gonna be
brutal. I think I'm just gonna be brutal. Like I'm gonna go Marie Kondo on that vault. If I haven't used it in the past like 3 months, it's gonna go.
Gone.
It's gonna go.
Yeah, I always enjoy like the prep for a expansion to launch. But even going through your vault, you know, I love getting all the characters organized and doing this and that and what's on your characters, but it is difficult to go through that vault.
Something that really frustrates me in video games, and this has been like pertinent lately because I've been playing Borderlands. I was playing Kingdom Come Deliverance, both RPG-ish, like both of them you get loot, right? And there's nothing that like slows me down and wears me down quicker than having too much stuff and having to just get rid of stuff that you like for new stuff.
Yeah, right.
Because it just seems in these games there's never ever enough space. And so I don't want to go into Shadowkeep like every time I get through with a play session having to go in and piece by piece like all right, I got to make 10 spaces. All right, what are we going to delete this time? No. I'm just going to clear out like half my vault and just be able to not worry about it. Because that just drives me nuts. And it adds a bunch of time when you can just be having fun.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. No, I get it. You're pumping me up to try to get a little bit more.
Just go clean it out, man. just do it. Just pull the trigger. You could be getting tons of new stuff. Tons of new stuff. Armor 2.0 on all the new rewards. You're going to be wanting to invest into some of those things. And you're just going to need a couple builds to hold you over until you get, good sets. And that's all.
Yep.
Yeah,
I know. It's actually, speaking of, like, I've been hoarding my all my materials and stuff. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but we got several things here we were just going to remind you guys about. Maybe a little prep before Shadowkeep launches once, of course, Cyborg, you finish up your reset. But I've been like hoarding my legendary shards. I've got like over 200 enhancement cores now.
Whoa.
Like I'm just, I haven't spent a thing in a while.
Now.
Yeah. Dude, I tell you what, ever since when when was it that what launched when I said I was going to wait? I think it was last season, maybe. I said I was going to wait and not infuse anything because, I mean, it's a classic, simple thing, but I would infuse every now and then so that I could like somewhat match and not just be atrociously ugly as I leveled. But this past season, I want to say it was Drifter, not Opulence. I waited, man. I waited until I was just mismatched, ugly.
Yeah, you just had to roll
Guardian
ugly for a little while.
Yeah, until I hit max. And then I infused the gear that I knew I was going to use. Yeah. And ever since I did that, dude, I hit like 100 enhancement cores. And I've been able to stay basically at 100. And now that, the season's been going for a while, this season as well, I think I'm at like almost 230.
That's the key, man.
So that became...
Go utility first, then fashion in the end game. You got to go vertical,
and of course,
then horizontal.
Right. Yep. Yeah. And I would do it periodically just because it's like, man, it looks so gross. Like fashion is important when it comes to your Guardian, but and of course the gunsmith stuff has helped. I originally was criticized, I think, a little bit that I didn't think one enhancement core was enough on those gunsmith bounties, but it really is, dude. It doesn't take long to finish those, and they're daily. They knew what they were doing.
You know what
and that has definitely helped.
Really liked was getting at the top clan level when you get your clan reward, you get 7.
Mm-hmm.
That was
a big one.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. I kind of forgot about that. Mm-hmm. I got to the point where I was expecting that, when I would go up and turn that in. So yeah, that was a big one as well. But yeah. Anyway, sorry, I went off on a tangent. Is there anything else in your reset?
Oh no, man.
Cyborg,
just before I played a bunch of Borderlands 3 this week. It's really fun. It's really funny. There's just a ton of references and stuff. There's some really funny Destiny references. Spoilers, but there's a mission. I'm not going to spoil it. There's some funny, very obvious Destiny references in Borderlands 3. And there's references to all kinds of stuff. Like there's a Rick and Morty reference. There's just tons of things. And I just love how much, like humor and pop culture and stuff like that they stick in the game.
Yeah, definitely.
It makes it like keeps you elevated, like interested in what you're doing. When a lot of the time the quest is like, okay, go do this thing, get this thing, kill this guy, repeat, but the dialogue and the characters and stuff make it all seem fresh and funny and really fun. Yeah.
I've had definitely just in my couple play sessions with Borderlands, because I played the other one so much, like some mixed emotions. As soon as I loaded it up, I'm like, oh wow, yeah, I'm glad I picked this up. Like I missed this is fun, I love Borderlands. And then as I played a little bit more, I'm like, oh dude, like doing the grind to 50 again. And then what you said, like you get all these weapons and then you don't have enough room and then you gotta dismantle them. And then like some of the quests is like, go do this, and then now I need you to go do this, and there's like 5 markers on the map all over the place. But that's games. Like in the end, it's Borderlands. It's all about the loot. As soon as you start blasting the enemies and that loot drops out, it's like you don't care.
When you get into like when you get past like the beginning levels, like past level 10 basically, and you start to get
I'm so early on.
You start to get cooler weapons and perks and effects available. It really starts to ratchet up the fun level. But I'll say this, it's a big game, and I just got to a zone and was like playing, and I was like, oh, I don't want to clear another zone tonight. Like I don't want to go through another world. And I like turned it off because I started to get fatigued. So I can definitely see myself like playing some and then taking a break, because it's just really big. It's a huge game. And I go through, when I go to a zone, and I do all the challenges, all the side missions, everything before I go to the next thing. So I'm like kind of not crawling through it, but I'm like taking my time,
Yeah, you're probably over leveled for most everything you're doing too.
Some of the stuff, like honestly, the way that Borderlands played, like if you don't do a lot of that stuff, like side missions and challenges, you'll end up through the campaign like going to stuff and being underpowered. And so I've actually found myself getting to like significant milestones with like campaign stuff and bosses and being at like just the right level. And I was like, wow, like this is appropriate level and I've done everything I could. Like, because I had a couple of friends who were like, I got to this boss and I was just totally getting my butt kicked and I had to go back and do side stuff to level up. So that's kind of Borderlands. Like you want to find the side stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm just basically, I'm like, okay, I'm super pumped. I even actually, because the new Zelda came out this week.
Oh, yeah, man.
Awakening, the remake, and
Yeah.
I don't know that I ever played that original, but man, my son and I have been watching some videos on it, and it looks super fun. It'd be like such a fun one for him to play. He played a little bit of Breath of the Wild, but it got me like looking at that, and then I actually loaded Breath of the Wild back up because I never like fully was able to make some time to dive into that game. And it's like, I don't even know when. Shadow keeps launching in a week and a half. It's like not possible.
Yeah. And then,
so many games.
I'd played some Gears 5, and we haven't even gone back to that because Borderlands came out, so we still got to finish that campaign.
I have 2 months of the Game Pass, and I've played like 2 online matches of that game. I don't know when. Anyway, sorry.
Some point. Gears. I'm, the good thing is like once like December comes around, I'm willing to bet there'll be time to play a lot of this stuff if you don't like finish the Gears campaign or you want to come back to Borderlands. The good thing is those are like fun single or co-op experiences that like they're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, they're just sitting there waiting for you.
Yeah. So, but I took a little time to like enjoy some of that stuff before I take another deep dive into Destiny next reset.
Yeah, I've definitely kind of unintentionally, like I said, been hitting that as well. I've kind of been doing a little break from gaming and then kind of a little bit of a break from Destiny while trying to wrap up a few things before the new season starts.
Yeah.
So it's always healthy.
That's good. Check your gamer levels, bros. Are they imbalanced? Do you have too many Omega Destiny 3s? Got to balance them out with some Omega 6s and 9s, those Borderlands 3s. Maybe a little RPGs. I don't know if I went too far with that one.
Come back, Cyborg.
All right. How about some Dirt Fam discourse?
I think it's time.
We've got a couple emails. Well, let's just do one since we're running late on time, right?
Yes.
You want to read this?
Yes, I'd love to.
Okay.
I actually would love to read this very much because, you are such a sweet guardian. And if people don't already know that, they need to know it. Are you ready?
Ruining my reputation.
No, I am not.
Okay.
It's okay to be nice. Email is from Darth Digits, Dirt Fam team member. He says, "What is up, Dirt Fam? It is I, Darth Digits. As you may or may not have recently seen on Twitter, Cyborg this past week posted some pics of a PC that he built for me. With the aid of him and other fellow Dirt Fam members, MD Sailor," I almost did it again. I almost said Slayer.
MD Slayer. Yeah.
Yep, he's back. He is back. And Kim Rex and a few purchases of my own, our Franken build came to life. I've been using the PC for a few days now, and I must say I am in love. With the upcoming release of Shadowkeep, I am thrilled to play with a section of the community that I haven't yet gotten the chance to play with. So if we aren't friends on Steam yet, feel free to add me. Username is Darth Digits, just DarthDigits. You should also totally join the Destiny Reset Steam group if you're on PC and haven't already. So, Cyborg, Sailor, and Kim, thank you again. You guys helped make what were immediately a rough few months for me a whole lot better. Your friend, Darth Digits. Yes, so you've been posting on Twitter, dude. You are an awesome friend. And these other Guardians here in the community, you basically built a PC for Darth, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I put it together. I don't want to overstate what I did. I contributed.
Well, you put it together. I mean, that's not a small feat.
I contributed to assembly and a part and a couple like screws and stuff, and I shipped it. Kim Rex donated like the GPU, the CPU, and the motherboard, which is like the most expensive stuff from leftover builds. And Sailor contributed an awesome hard drive, and then so Darth purchased the rest of what he needed. Like he got like the case and the power supply and a CPU cooler and some RAM. So he spent some money on this, but we got it all sent to my place and I put it all together, and it was really fun but also challenging because I didn't make this build. It just got sent to me. So they're like, here's all the pieces, make a PC. And I was like, all right, where do I start? Like, I got to find the manual for the motherboard because it wasn't new. Figure out how everything goes together. Like, mount the CPU. I had a bent pin on the socket. I had to fix that. And it's okay.
No.
It's fine. Mount the cooler. I'd never put on this kind of CPU cooler before. I had to research that, how to do that right. Like, it was a lot of fun, but it took me like near on a week to finish. But we got Darth on the PC, and that was the goal. And
dude, that's awesome.
It was fun, and we're excited to bring another friend over to PC with us. And
for sure.
Yeah.
Congrats on the new PC, Darth. And man, shout out to you guys again. That's what the Dirt Fam's all about. You guys just knocked it out of the park for old Darth here.
Yeah. Oh, and right in time for his B-Day too. So happy
oh yeah,
birthday,
that's
buddy.
right. You mentioned that. Yep. Happy birthday. Very cool.
So yeah, you're welcome, Darth.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Guardians. We got more emails. These shows have been going long, so we've just been kind of doing one in the discourse, but we have them banked. Don't worry. And if we don't read them, we get them, and we very much appreciate it. And we try to get them on the show. So thank you.
Yeah, we got some
sending
in the wings that we'll feature on upcoming episodes. If you would like to discourse with us, send us an email, destinyresetpodcast@gmail.com, or a speakpipe, speakpipe.com/destinyreset. That's like a voicemail. You get up to 90 seconds to record, and we'll play your voice on the show, assuming the audio quality works. And send us something. If you want to do like Darth did, shout out some people for something cool, or if you want to talk about something that's pertinent to what we talked about on the show, or something upcoming, or just whatever, send it our way. We'll chat with you.
Yep. Do it. Don't hesitate.
Yep. And I'm just still waiting on that SpeakPipe challenge.
Oh, I know. I've been meaning to shoot a message in Discord to the challenger.
The challengee.
Yes.
Challenger and the challengee.
Yes, both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
do we have any new patrons this week?
We actually do, man. It was a patron review week. 2 new patrons, Victory for Us and Pennsylvania. Thank you, Guardians, so much. We very much appreciate it. I believe one was Patreon and one was PayPal donation. So
thank you very much. Yeah, so if you don't know what a patron is, go to patreon.com/destinyreset. And for as little as $1 a month, you can support the production budget of our show. You get a few things in return. You get a shout out right here. You get your gamer tag posted on our website as a patron. And you get an invitation to our Discord channel just for Dirt Fan patrons and supporters, where you get the behind the scenes chat about the show.
Yep.
That mostly consists of feedback, food talk, and making fun of Cyborg, which is all fair and good.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Also, we mention this from time to time, but if you don't want to do like the monthly commitment, you can also send a one-time tip to us via PayPal. And there's a link to that on our website.
Yes. Thank you, Guardians, so much. There's so many on the website.
Oh, yeah.
These days, over the last however long we've been doing this.
It's crazy, man. We
can't thank you enough.
Started this as like a new thing a while back, and there's so many of you that have contributed over this time, and it's just awesome, and we thank you for supporting us.
Yes. Means so much.
I'm gonna
cry.
It's so nice.
We gotta move on.
Okay. Where have people can find you on the web?
Those people can find me at YouTube and Twitter at AER0KNIGHT with a 0. What about you?
Perfect. You can find me at CyborgSasquatch. You can find us at Destiny Reset. These are on Twitter. You can find us on the web, DestinyResetPodcast.com. You can also subscribe to us on your favorite app of choice. There's links on that site if you need to find us. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. Hey, did you know that Pocket Casts is a great app that's now free?
Really?
For podcasting. Yeah, just saw that this week. They're moving to free. If you need like a good podcast app to like manage that stuff for you, try that out. And we are like, you can find our feed through Pocket Casts. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, thank you for your reviews. I think we have a few new reviews this week.
We do. Yes, I'll read a couple. You read some, Cyborg. Okay. We got 5 new this reset, I think. So shout out. Thanks so much to, again, Victory for us. Mr. Monkey, 1974. What's up, Monkey? We talked to you quite a bit. And what else?
None Fallout. This one's Dubicus 88.
I think so. Dubicus 88.
And the Dragon and Tiger. Sounds like a D&D, like... Yeah.
Yep, it does. Yeah, so a couple of these are from I believe well, they're not US reviews, so it did remind yes, it did remind me, because Mr. Monkeys, I believe, was, and he let us know he left one. Sometimes we may miss them if you guys leave them out of the outside of the US, but we're subscribed to something that periodically tells us all of the reviews we've gotten, regardless of the country, but we don't get that super often. We're not sure what time frame those emails are on. It's just kind of a free service, so we can't complain. But if we do miss you, don't hesitate to tweet at us or something and tell us to go check out the
gotta get that crispy shout
fill
out.
In the blank country review. Because we definitely want to give you your shout out if we can.
Yep.
So anyways, thank you guys so much. It means a lot, just like the patron.
Yes. Thank you for your reviews. It helps us get seen and heard by more listeners just like you, and that's what we want.
Yep.
Watch your ears. Give me your ears.
Guardians and listeners. It's exciting.
All right, buddy. Fun show.
Yeah.
I mean, next week will be like the day before Shadowkeep, so that'll be exciting.
Yeah. When the episode goes live. Those are always the interesting ones. At least we launch a show back on Mondays now, so you're getting like one last taste of DRP before something launches, and it's not all old news.
We're gonna just throw a hype party. Let's just throw everything out the window and throw a party. Yep, that'll be the whole show.
The whole episode.
Moons,
with moon pies.
Moon pies. We'll do that. It's gonna be great.
Too bad we don't live stream the episode, because I'm sure that would probably be pretty entertaining. The subscriber count would be up. Probably not. Probably not. Anyways, all right. That's a wrap, I think.
Yes.
Until next reset, have fun playing Destiny 2, and take care, Guardians.